Everybody out there, this is Seto, and today for you guys we will continue on with the video I did prior, talking about my life. A lot of you guys, like I said earlier, have been asking about do a video or a draw video where I draw your life type of videos you see some people do where they fast forward their life and they draw it and everything like that. I was concerned to do that, but I thought, because I don't have the technology to do it, let's do a video talk so you guys can just hear me. And a lot of you guys have asked to know about a little bit about me because this, like I've discussed in the previous video, this is not just a Yu-Gi-Oh video. This is a Yu-Gi-Oh channel. This is a Yu-Gi-Oh channel with the life of me, a duelist playing Yu-Gi-Oh throughout the years. So that's pretty much what I consider this channel to some degree. But we left off last time talking about me in high school and whatnot. So like I was talking about good old Vladimir. Yeah, I know Vladimir. What a name. The Russian duelist. That was the thing I made him call him, the Russian man. Big guy. And then there was Nate. Yeah, Nate played Yu-Gi-Oh. I forgot about Nate in the last video. But Nate played, and we pretty much sometimes when we go to these track meets, and literally back when I was growing up, this is 2008, 2009, 2006, 2007, high school, middle school era, growing up. Because I was in high school in 2004, 2005, 2006. Yeah, and then high school would have been 2006, 2007, 2008, 2009, because I graduated in the spring of 2009. So, growing up, I used to do track and football all the time, and I could tell you some stories of some of the stupid stuff some track people used to do at football practice. And by football, I mean American football, like the Super Bowl that was on a couple of weeks ago. That's what I mean by football. I played that for 8 years, and I did track for 8 years. But football, there were some stories I could tell you guys that had happened about icy hot on guys' asses. I'm not going to go into detail because it's a family-oriented channel, but there were some stories. There's some interesting track stories I could tell, but I'm not going to go into detail there. But we had an interesting track team with the girls. The girls were a bunch of they were very nice and great girls, but they had some lesbian tendencies. I'll just say that. Granted, in high school, guys, oh, girl kissing girl. But hey, they loved each other. What can you say at the time? So there was some interesting track experiences we had. Like I said, we traveled all over, so it was very, very fun growing up for me. That's how I got those people that I played track and football with. Those were my men, and the guys I eat lunch with, even though they may not play it anymore. Those were my buds. Those were my homies. My good friends of mine, and still to this day, or to some degree, I talk to them once in a while, but they're still, I consider them my friends in my heart. And even growing up in middle school, a lot of people I knew a lot of people because I was the guy that at the end of senior year, I threw this big birthday party of mine at my dad's place down on the beach. Everybody and their brother wanted to come down, everybody's like, oh, that was an awesome party, This is those 15, 14-year-olds, 13-year-olds, like, pool party with the girls, oh my gosh, playing video games, pizza, cake, cookies. Dude, early 2000s, great time to be a kid. I'm not lying. So yeah, we did some crazy things back then. But going into college, that's when I got more back into the game of Yu-Gi-Oh, I guess you could say. Granted, throughout this entire time frame I'm talking about, from the 90s, like I mentioned, when I got into Pokemon till now, going into college, I was playing Pokemon the entire time. Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald. I'm going to profile something up on the channel, if I haven't done already, of all my old Game Boy games I have. I still have them. I found them when I was cleaning up the house to sell. But yes, there was a lot of cool things I used to do back then, but I played Pokemon and whatnot back then and had a lot of fun doing that. But going into college, I was playing Pokemon still and everything, and the first year I had a girlfriend and I really liked her. She was half Korean, half white. Her name was Stephanie. Very nice girl, had a screw loose with too, but still was a good person, a nice person. Loved freaking Twilight. Loved Twilight. We weren't necessarily dating, we just really liked each other, I guess you could say, to some degree. We were dating, we did have fun and whatnot, wink wink, but I would consider us dating. We were Facebook official, I guess, to some degree. But beside the point, I had other girls in high school I had been dating, but one or two girls there, and she was the first kind of serious relationship I had besides high school, where we were like, hey, I like you, you like me, let's date, or hey, let me take you to the prom type of date, things of that nature. Apparently I did have a lot of crushes, apparently the girls that did like me in high school. I found out years later. I was like, oh, I didn't know. I found that out. Apparently a lot of that came out during graduation. A lot of people told me that after, hey, I really liked you. I wish, here's my number. Okay. But yeah, that's beside the point. I'm not trying to make myself out to be a G or a Holmes or, look at me, a player and a pimp. But I was surprised back then. It blew me away. I'll just say that for a young Kevin Rogers at the time. But going into college now, like I was dating Stephanie and whatnot, and I played Yu-Gi-Oh! And whatnot. And then eventually I met my boys and my guys at Woodbridge campus, Nova Woodbridge campus. And they got me really back into the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Alex, Will, and Reggie. Those guys really got me back into the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Those three guys, and Dark Kevin, by the way, my darker half, I called him. There's an old profile of him on the channel doing ice barriers, but they really got me back into the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Just playing the game. Granted, I had been away for a couple of years. I hadn't played competitively, like I had before. I was getting back into the game. I hadn't played in a while. I picked up pretty much my Gravekeeper deck. I rebuilt the deck from what I had before, played that deck, built 6 Samurais again because the Storm of Ragnarok had just came out, rebuilt that deck, started playing those 2 decks as my main decks. Built the Marauding Captain deck, which I really like playing. I really want to do a deck profile of that deck again for you guys, so I could learn XYZs and Synchros. Well, I knew Synchros already, but XYZs were still kind of new. They were just had came out with, the structure deck kind of at that time. I mean, granted, Storm of Ragnarok was still out. I was already playing in those eras, Star Strike Blast and whatnot. But when Exceeds came out, I was like, what are Exceeds? What is this? I was still playing a little bit casually, but then I started playing competitively more and more and more, and got some tops by myself. I would go to regionals, have some fun, do good. Didn't say anything about it, didn't care. And then eventually, after Dino Rabbit format, I kind of said, Dino Rabbit and Wind Up format, I kind of stopped playing for a bit, started playing more casually, found that that's where I really enjoyed the game, and things of that nature. And at that time, I was living with my grandparents as well, and I was a caretaker for my grandparents for 4+ years. So my dad would drive me to these, sometimes if we were in the area, he's like, oh, I'll go metal detect and go talk to my buddies that I know in this area, and you can go to the tournament and play at regionals, and then he would come pick me up and take me back down to Stafford. That's usually mainly what I did, like, for a long time. And I would usually try to go every day, to Woodbridge, hang out with the guys, try to go to locals here or there at the time, wherever I was at to play, wherever I could find somebody to play, I would play at. Because I used to play back in the day up in, what was it called, Game Parlor, I think it was, in Stafford. There was another Game Parlor, I think, in Manassas at the time. Those were where I mainly played at those times, card shops back in the day. And I used to play a lot. And then eventually what happened was, I graduated from Nova, getting my associate's degree, and I went to a 4-year college, George Mason University. And at that time, I didn't know of any Yu-Gi-Oh! Players at the college. Then I started meeting a whole bunch of players, and they took me to like the best I have ever been. I felt like it was the cream of the crop. And this was like right before Dragon Ruler format, so this is right around the time I decided to start the channel, I guess you could say. And at that time, like I said, I've been living with my grandparents. I had no girlfriend. And around that time, I had another girlfriend at that time. I met Cassandra. It was a long distance relationship at the time. She lived in Michigan, and she would come and visit me, every couple months. But eventually, we decided to call it quits. And then I had the crazy ex. You know that one ex you have that's just super crazy, and you're like, why the hell was I with her? That's what happened around 2013, 2012. I had that crazy ex, and she wanted to play Yu-Gi-Oh! And she went out and spent $5,000. Not 5,000, excuse me. Oh my gosh, I spoke too many. I added one more zero. $500 and something dollars, I remember. $500 was $700 on Yu-Gi-Oh! Product. I built her 5 decks. She said, I want to play this deck. I want to play this deck. Okay, I'll help you. All the guys at locals, I help you. Never ever played a full match with any single deck, and then blamed me for pushing her when she's the one that had asked me to go buy the stuff at the cheapest price. Yeah, that was the try to run me over twice in her car, physically like run me over. It was just a bad, toxic relationship, and eventually I just called it quits. I said, I've had enough. And to top it all off, we broke up on 9/11. I think it was the 13th anniversary of 9/11, I think it was, I forget, 12, something like that. And I was like, oh my gosh, thank gosh this is over with. And that's when I started focusing more on the channel and just putting more energy into this relationship that was just drooling. She's in, like, I think one of my old videos, that X is, but I don't know. It was an old video. And so I started doing, focusing more on YouTubing and just things of that nature, and playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And whatnot at Mason, getting better, going to regionals, things of that nature. And eventually I came to this point where that's what I did for a long period of time, about a year or two. Took care of my grandparents, came home, did homework, no job, no nothing. That's just what I did. Made some money from selling and buying cards. That's how I maintained dying decks. Borrowed cards, did things of that nature. Used cards, sold just a whole bunch of different things. Made some money cutting people's grass and things of that nature. Finally got a part-time job eventually. Around, I guess you could say it was around 2013, right, like in the fall of 2013, I got my first good job. That helped pay for Yu-Gi-Oh! And whatnot. Then I got another job going into 2014, and that helped pay for more Yu-Gi-Oh! Stuff and me playing and just creating a nest egg, a little nest egg, so to speak. Then my father passed away, and that changed everything. So in September 2000, I think it was 2014, excuse me, it's been 2 years almost, which I can't believe to this day it's been 2 years. My entire world that I knew completely and utterly went upside down. Literally, it's like taking this jar of Tostitos and literally doing this. Like flipping an hourglass down, that's exactly what happened. Literally, everything just got flipped up on the side of its head, so to speak, literally. It was sudden, he passed away. He had a massive heart attack at home. He was gonna pick me up like he did always. He was driving, he was wearing himself out from taking care of my grandparents and us kids and his then fiance, who he didn't really like that much, I think. But beside the point, his heart gave out on him. He was obese, he smoked, his heart gave out, and he passed away. And he wasn't just my father. He was, even though I didn't like him for some of the things he did, he was one of my best friends. He wasn't just a follower of me, he was my best friend to some degree, and I loved him. I stood up for him because I cared about him. We had our arguments, we had our disagreements as father and son, but I cared about him. He knew I cared about him. But it just hurt me so much that they both have passed away. It really did. I'm sorry, guys, but it hurt. I went to see my mom. It was a painful time to know that both your parents are gone. And then, because the fact of the matter is, because he was in charge of my grandparents and everything, my entire life, just having to sell 3 of my family homes, having to deal with lawyers and bills. Yeah, I know it's real world shit. I get it. But have it all thrown in your face at the same time. Having family drama with everything. Everybody telling you should do this, do that. God bless my uncle and aunt, and my cousins, who were literally like George and Sherry and Patty and Jimmy, Christian to some extent. They helped me out. If it wasn't for them, and Miss Baker did. Miss Baker did too. She was still there. My tutor, who became my mother figure after my mom passed away when I was 10, like I said, she was there for me, and they helped me through that time. And it was such a dark time. I literally think I reached my bottom point. That was the lowest point in my life thus far. Because I didn't know what the hell was going to happen to me, my brother, my life, anything. And then I met my girlfriend. She made my life so much better. If you guys didn't know, me and my girlfriend actually met on Tinder. I was lonely at the time. I was literally, it was a dark time for me. If you look at some of those videos from there, I was just literally, the only thing that kept me going every day was school and doing videos for this channel back then. That is what kept me going day to day to day. And my girlfriend came in the picture, and she was literally the angel, and she still is my angel in my world. My brother, I love him to death, but she is, I'll love my brother to the day I die, and I'll do my best to take care of him. But he's 20 now, and he's trying to get his life started himself. But my girlfriend came in, and she's made my life amazing. And we just celebrated our anniversary, our 1-year anniversary, a couple of weeks ago. And I'm thankful to God I have her in my life. You know that they say the night is darkest right before the dawn. I have to agree with that. The night is darkest right before the dawn. The darkest part of the night is right before the dawn. And I went through the darkest part of the night, I feel like, and then I had the dawn. Which was her. Which was her and my family. Especially her. She made and showed me that there's more to life. There's more meaning to it and everything. And I'm grateful to the day I die. And I've told her, and she doesn't believe me, but I told her, I said, you are going to be the girl I'm going to marry. You are the one. There's no other one. I don't want anybody else. You are the one. You see me at my lowest point, and you could have left. And this is what I'm saying. I was at my lowest point, and she was there to help me. That's when we were dating. We started dating. And she's seen me at my lowest point, and yet she stayed with me. That tells you, that's a testament to her character as a woman, as a person. And I love her for it. She's an amazing woman. I'm going to marry that girl. I've told myself I'm probably going to marry that girl. It's about a 90% chance, if more. But yeah, that's my life up to now. And then we fast forward to now, which I am about to graduate college, finally, after being in college since the fall of 2009. I'm with my girlfriend currently. I hope you're still with me, honey. And I'm enjoying life to some extent. Trying to find an internship, stressed about finals, stressed about graduating, stressed about what my life's going to do after I'm done with school. You know, the future. You never know what's going to happen, but you know what? If there's one thing I can tell you guys from the life I've lived thus far, enjoy it. Enjoy every minute of it, because you only get one. Enjoy it. Enjoy the people you're with. And live it like it's you're dying. Live like you're dying. And love like you've never loved before. And you have a good life. So, on that, I'm going to end my video, guys. And that's my life this far. I'm about to graduate, and we'll see what the next chapters of Seto Kaiba has for us, what my life does. But that's my life, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. Apologize if it was very boring. Apologize if I was a sentimental freak. And I apologize I started crying there for a bit. But I meant, it hurts me talking about that. But beside the point, it does hurt. But till next time, guys, take care. Have fun dueling. Good luck dueling. And I'll see all of you guys next time. Take care, everybody.